Hey everyone, so in this video, we're just going to talk really quickly about archiving a completed project, as well as a couple things that you should probably do if you're not going to have someone else master your recording. You can do a little bit of mastering on your own on the master fader on the way out. So one is you can put some sort of limiter on the master. So we had turned this down to avoid things, but maybe we really liked how it sounded and it was up a little higher. And we're going to go back to 0 here. So it's peaking again a little bit. So if you're really happy with the way things sound and you just need to compress just slightly, you can use a limiter on the master fader. The one that's built into Pro Tools is called Maxim. So you can kind of just quick and dirty do this. Let's just try CD mastering. So that's -3 dB threshold and -0.1 dB for the ceiling. And got my head right for the first time. Now it's perfectly clear. And now our master is no longer peaking so much and it is compressing a little bit. So we're getting some compression on the final mix there. And then if your session is in any bit rate that's not 16, most places where you need to distribute to, that be that streaming or you want like CD quality audio in the end, all of that stuff is 16-bit. So if you've recorded at something other than 16-bit, like 24 or 32-bit float, you need to add dither on the way out. Now, if you're sending it out for mastering, you don't want to do this because most mastering houses will have a way better processor for dithering than you do built in, most likely. So if you're sending off for mastering, leave it alone. Basically leave everything alone on the master fader and just give them the overall mix and let them get the volume right and let them get the dither worked out. Dither is something you need to apply when you're in, say, 24-bit and you have that last fade out at the end of the session. What happens is if you're in a high bit rate, this will be nice and even, but really what the volume's doing in the very quiet range especially is if you're a higher bit rate, you have little boxes like this, right? Because it's all digital. This is not analog. So eventually you're getting some sort of computer ones and zeros at some point or another, right? So higher bit rate means better resolution. Think of a JPEG with really high resolution compared to a JPEG with very low resolution. So if you have a high bit rate, you have higher resolution of your volume. And if you need to come down from 24-bit to 16, you're turning it into bigger chunks for that final product. Now, what that means is when you get down to really quiet places, those big chunks might make your last fade go down unevenly at the end. So it'll go even. And then when it gets very close to quiet, you might just hear it kind of pop away. So you get one big chunk at the end and you can hear it if you're listening on headphones or something. The sound just drops out all of a sudden instead of evenly fading to like silence. So dither helps by kind of adding a little bit of white noise, slight white noise to the mix and helps raise the noise floor so that you don't get that dropout at the end of your last fade. So the one that's built into Pro Tools is dither, and then power dither is the one that they have. And there's just a couple of settings here. First thing is this should always be the last thing that happens. So no other plugins should follow the dither. It should be the last thing in your signal chain. You want 16-bit if you're going to streaming or if you're going to CD or any of those things. And then you have 3 choices for noise shaping. So those are type 1, which is listed as being good for spoken word and solo instrument recordings, things like that. Then type 2 is like your standard rock and pop recording kind of algorithm. And then type 3 is for wider dynamic range things like classical music or orchestral music. So you can kind of just choose the one that best applies. Most of the time for like a rock thing, it's going to be type 2, and then just forget about it. That's good to go. And that's that. So a little bit of a limiter to help with the overall volume and maybe compress your mix a little bit. And then dither, anytime you're going down, you're sampling down in your bit rate, right? So anytime you're going from 32 or 24 down to 16. do not do it if if your session is already at 16-bit, you do not need dither at all. But this one, for instance, is at 24. So if you're already at 16, there is no reason to add dither. So just leave it off. It's not something you always need. And again, if you're sending out to a mastering house, leave all the stuff on your master alone and let them handle the volume things and the dither, because they will likely have fancy equipment that will do a better job than these. Finally, if you are going to create an archive of your completed mix that is the minimum size and cleaned up, you might have a whole bunch of tracks in here that only have a tiny little piece of an audio track. For instance, this guitar track, maybe there's a ton of parent audio underneath that guitar track, and you really just want to save what's here, or maybe just a little bit in both directions to cut down on the size of your archive. So 3 steps to creating your archive when you're finally done and you just need to save this somewhere. Step 1 is clear any unused files from your session without deleting those files from the disk. So don't totally destroy them. You may need them someday in some future, right? So don't delete the files from the disk. And then you're going to create a copy using save copy in of your session. And then you're going to compact all the parent files in your copy so that those unused portions aren't taking up disk space. So let's go through that. So step 1, go over to your clip list, which I need to open up, and go to the dropdown and then select unused. Cool. So there's a lot of stuff that didn't end up getting used in this session. Then choose clear. And then you will get that dialog that says, which of these do you want to do? Do you want to just get rid of them from the session? Do you want to move the files to the trash, the parents? Or do we want to just delete it all right now? No trash, nothing, just Armageddon right here. So in our case, we're just trying to archive with the minimum amount of disk space, but we're trying not to lose any parent files. So in that case, what do? We just use remove. So all the files will be untouched on the disk. They're just going to be removed from the session itself. Cool. So we cut down the number of clips in our session. And then the next thing is save copy in, file, save copy in. And that will bring us this dialog. Now, if there's only audio in your session, you can just make sure that the audio files is checked. And if there's video, make sure movie and video files are checked, which there aren't any in this session. And then click OK. Now it's doing some processing. Here's that window to let us know. All right. And then this is not our copy that is currently open. When you do save copy in, your current session stays open. So you need to get to that copy before you do the last step. So I'm going to close this session. All right. And let's open up our copy. It's taking a second to load. Restoring tracks, all that good stuff. Okay, all our stuff is back. The session's here. Everything seems to be in order. Alrighty, so we've got all our stuff in here. So the copy works fine, looks like. Yep, it's perfectly fine. And last step is to compact all those parent files that aren't being used. So that's again in the clip list with the dropdown. Then we go to compact. That will bring up a dialog. And here's where you want to make a choice. So this is 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So that will give a little bit of padding. So if you still do need to do a little tiny bit of editing someday in the future, or just want to have a little bit of that leftover audio left from the parent, you can choose some padding. So maybe a second is good. That way you get a second to fix an edit. Maybe that edit was just off by a couple of milliseconds and you just need to fix it. You get a little padding in your compaction so that it doesn't cut away all of the parent. You still have about a second in both directions on your subset clips. So then you click compact after choosing your amount and you're done. That's it. You now have a very clean archivable copy, and it is the smallest size it can be without losing anything from the session. And we are good to go. All right, so that's it for this video too. So I'll see you in the next one.